So what are some examples of this? Well, think about the institution of marriage today. The institution of marriage is under attack today.
That's right, MGTOW brothers. Our favorite hate preacher is back at it again, trying to lecture MGTOW when it comes to marriage. And yes, I'm going to leave a link to one of my videos into the description box. And I'm just here to tell this hate preacher, we ain't trying to hear what you got to say anymore. And it's funny that he has a gripe with MGTOW when it comes to marriage, but notice he has no smoke for all these other people and groups that also goes against marriage as well. He doesn't. This is just him using this as a crutch to whine and cry about MGTOW some more, about how much he does not like MGTOW. And oh, keep this in mind as well. This is the same hate preacher who wishes death on everybody. But he wants to lecture us. What a hypocrite. But it's me again. They hate us. This is why they give a fuck about us at the same time. As always, JD Miles. The MGTOWs they love to hate. Even the ones that claim everybody loves to hate them, loves to hate MGTOW at the same time. This is why you got idiots like this hate preacher keeping MGTOW relevant to this day, and I'm back again. And as y'all can tell, this ain't my first rodeo when it comes to this hate preacher. And who is he trying to convince? Our minds are already made up. And the fact that he's going for MGTOW to address this issue, while he ain't got nothing to say about others who are also is against marriage. That right there lets you know why no one is listening to him, and why he's steady trying to beat everybody in the head with the Bible, thinking people is going to listen to what he has to say. But let's end the fact and get this too. This hate preacher does not like anyone disagreeing with what he's preaching. This is why he doesn't want nobody commenting under his videos. But there are other ways to respond. Yeah, let's see him delete this. And yes, this video is protected under Title 107, the Fair Use Act, for critiquing and educational purposes only. Any attempt to take down this video will be in violation of Title 107. With that being said, let's get started. Let's get started hearing what this hate preacher has to say.
And if you look at the statistics on marriage, now for the first time in history over the last few years, more households consist of people who are not married than married. So in the United States of America, if you have a man and a woman living together, chances are they're not married. I mean, that's incredible.
And where's your statistics on that, hate preacher? Or is this you assuming that's how it is? Assumptions is not facts. And has this hate preacher been to each and every person's house, got to know these people, to stand in front of his podium and preach to his congregation who is and who ain't married? Yeah, I doubt it. Let alone him telling people, oh, the American households, the people living in it are not married. Jesus Christ, let's continue.
So that right there should show you that the institution of marriage is under attack. If we went from 90-some% of couples living together are married to now all of a sudden a married couple is the minority, most households are not centered around a married couple, this should show you that the institution of marriage is under attack.
And if the institution of marriage is under attack, then how come you're only addressing the MGTOW community on this matter? And by the way, let's talk about your title, hate preacher. You trying to tell men don't be MGTOW? Well, here's my question to you. Who are you to tell people who they can and cannot be? I'll ask again. Who is you, hate preacher, to tell people who they can and cannot be? Let me guess. You think you own people, right? Kim Jong-un? You think you could control people. You think you could tell people what to do, like they're your child. And the last time I checked, God gives us infinite choices, whether good or bad. So who is you to tell people who they shouldn't be? The real question is, why should anyone be a hate preacher like you? Let's continue.
And you have a whole movement out there, a whole group of people, Mgtows, right? Men going their own way. And these men have given up on the institution of marriage. And if you see these guys talk online, they'll say there's no benefit to getting married. It's a bad deal for the man, because why? Because the government will always side with the woman, and all the laws and everything are against men, and so therefore if we get married, we're basically just putting ourselves in this position where it's a total disadvantage for us, and they hold all the cards. We have no recourse. If our wife disobeys or doesn't submit, we have no recourse, and everyone's going to back our wife up against us, and we're just basically and this is the attitude they have. And here's the thing, obviously there's always going to be a kernel of truth in these things.
You gotta love how hard he tries to downplay. You gotta love how hard this hate preacher tries to downplay the situation. And it's funny that he's only going after MGTOW when it comes to this issue. I got a question for you, hate preacher. Where's that same energy from feminists to women encouraging other women to divorce their husbands because they no longer want to be held bondage to marriage? Where's your sermons when it comes to them? Oh, that's right. You don't care about them. You're only whining and crying about MGTOW, as if MGTOW is the only reason why marriages is failing. And as I say before, MGTOWs don't give a damn what you got to say. If you ain't gonna address everyone else, don't come at MGTOW preaching to us about the matter. Don't come to MGTOWs preaching to us about the matter if you're going to ignore all the other reasons why marriages is under attack as you claim. But let's continue.
Because obviously we do live in this feminist society that has turned things upside down and that no longer respects a man's right to rule his home.
Oh, now the hate preacher now wants to talk about feminism. MGTOW brothers, if you look at his channel, notice something. He ain't got nothing to say about the feminist movement, despite the fact that feminism is the biggest contribution to the attack on marriage. He ain't got a single video preaching to the feminist movement. But boy, he has a whole lot of videos preaching to the MGTOW philosophy. Yes, hate preacher, MGTOW is a philosophy, not a movement. Do we have to spell it out to you? So basically, If he ain't got nothing to say to the feminist movement, then he ain't got nothing to say to the Mgtows, so he needs to have several seats and shut up forever. Let's continue.
Right? I mean, God says that the husband's the head of the wife and that the man is supposed to rule his house, but our society doesn't respect that, do they? No, they're feminist, and they don't believe in wives obeying their husbands. They don't believe in wives submitting to their husbands. Even churches, even Christians don't even typically teach or believe that anymore. And so because this institution has been altered from God's original intent, then you have these people that come along, the Mgtows, who just want to throw out the whole thing altogether and just say, well, because of the feminist...
By your own definition, hey preacher, and what you say does not express the views and opinions of the Mgtow philosophy as a whole. And as I also stated, you only coming at Mgtow with this issue, but you ain't got nothing to say about all these other groups who are way more of a contribution to the attack and the destruction of marriage more than Mgtow. So let's just call this a $1.50. You got nothing to say to them, but you got a lot to say about Mgtow. We ain't trying to hear it. Let's continue.
And because of the way the laws are and the way our society is, I'm just going to throw out marriage in general. I'm just going to give up on marriage in general. And you say, well, Pastor Anderson, why should I get married? Why should I participate in this? And the answer is simple, because it is the will of God. That's why.
So where's the law in the Bible that states that a man has to be married under God or he is sinning against God? Or he is condemning his soul against God? But wait a second. Doesn't 1 Corinthians contradicts what this hate preacher said? Last time I checked, the Bible said the unmarried are just as blessed as the married, hate preacher. So miss us with your cherry-picking sermons. That's right. To all you Christians out there, the Bible clearly states that the unmarried are just as blessed as the married. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that the unmarried are committing a sin. And I ain't gonna continue on, because at this point, this is nothing but a hate preaching Bible thumper who wants to go around hitting people in the head with his Bible, trying to lecture Mgtows about marriage, but ain't got nothing to say about the other side doing the exact same thing. And if he has nothing to say to that other side, then he damn sure ain't got nothing to say when it comes to Mgtow. This is the reason why Mgtows ain't trying to hear his preaching. This is why Mgtow is just looking at him as this crazed preacher going around beating people in the head with the Bible, while at the same time he's going around wishing death on other people. We don't care about your preaching. We don't care about what you believe the Bible says. Now knock the dust off your feet and move on with your life. You're done. And with that, I'm out this bitch. Later.